Microsoft has a lot of studios at their disposal, and with their upcoming showcase, I thought I would go through each, what they currently have in development, and what we might expect at their upcoming showcase. Let's dive in right now. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when these videos go live. I do appreciate it greatly. Diving right in, we have a lot of studios to get through. So we're going to start with the 343 Halo Infinite situation. So as you know, the current season 2 of Halo Infinite is happening right now. There was a little bit of story at the beginning, and 343 is continuing on with what they expect from season 2. Now, one thing about 343, they've had some departures lately. I don't know that we should expect much from 343 at the event, but if we do see something, I would have to imagine that it's going to be something about what's coming this fall for Halo, including Forge mode and campaign co-op, and hopefully a tease about whatever story beat is going to be hitting the game next. I'm just going to go in order of how they're presented on the website. So next, we're going to talk about the Age of Empires team, basically. The Age of Empires team, aka World's Edge, has the following on their website. There is a Season 1 update that is coming. This is posted on May 26th. So will we see anything about Age of Empires 4? I personally don't think we're going to see anything additional beyond Age of Empires. I think they would wait for a big story beat for that studio. Now, one a lot of people I have seen talking about, and I'll spend a little bit more time on, is the Coalition. So back on May 10th, 2021, and the reason I'm reading this is because a lot of people have talked about how great Gears 5 Hivebusters was and what is going on with the Coalition. What can we expect from them next? So the Coalition moving to next-gen development on Unreal Engine 5. At the Coalition, we pride ourselves on delivering the best possible Gears of War games and the best possible game performance using cutting-edge tools like Unreal Engine. We wanted to update our fans on both of those things. Thank you to all the fans out there who have been on this journey with us. During a worldwide pandemic and working from home, the team launched a first strategy titled Gears Tactics, relaunched Gears 5 and Tactics on Xbox Series X and S hardware, with performance upgrades and features, revamped Gears 5 multiplayer with a ton of content and updates, and capped the year with the first mainline campaign expansion, Gears 5 Hivebusters, in almost a decade. As we look to future games, we're excited to start shifting our resources to next-gen development using Unreal Engine 5. Gears of War has always been at the front of Unreal Engine development as a breakout 720p title for the 360 through last year's 120 FPS multiplayer update for Xbox Series X and S, and we're excited to continue that tradition by developing on Unreal Engine 5 for multiple new projects in the coming years. So it sounds like, now I'm reading a little bit between the lines here, but I have to imagine that means they're working on more than one thing. We know that Colin Penty was helping with the Matrix demo that released on all platforms, but we all know that there is going to be a new Gears game. The last one didn't tie things up with a nice bow on it. There's still loose ends, so there will be another Gears game, but I would be very excited to see what, in addition to Gears 5, the Coalition is developing. So it says, what does this mean for current titles? Gears 5 has content on the way and will continue to release new operations through 7 and 8. Each operation will have 2 drops, including new characters, new maps, and special events. Through the end of the year, this was back in 2021, we will have store updates with exciting new content as well as feature playlists. Shifting to a new engine is a big undertaking, so we want to be clear that we will not be announcing any new projects or titles for some time. Last, our amazing teams needs more exceptional professionals to help us. Come work with us, basically. We will not be announcing any new projects or titles for some time. So the reason I keep bringing up this blog post is because people keep saying they're going to announce Gears. They're going to announce Gears. I really don't think we're going to see anything until 2023 at the best. If they were just announcing this, and we know that they had early access on Unreal Engine 5, they've now had about 1 year with it, give or take. I have to imagine that we're not going to see the fruits of those labor or any sort of tease for a minimum of, so they've had 2001 to 2022, 2022 to 2023. At best, we get a teaser in 2023, but more likely at the 3-year mark, I would think that we get a look at whatever they are developing in Unreal Engine 5 at that point. So for the Coalition, I would hold your horses on any of those. What do we got next? So this is one I want to talk about. Compulsion Games. Compulsion Games made We Happy Few, and we have not heard from them for some time. Now we know they have a new studio space, and yeah, like they have a new studio space. They were founded in 2009. They released We Happy Few, and we don't really know what they're working on, right? So they even have this whole timeline here about what they've been doing. Microsoft acquired them in 2018. I don't know how this works. You like drag your mouse. So they did We Happy Few DLC in 2019. And then in 2022, they have 80 plus developers on their team. So they have been staffing up. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something from Compulsion Games after all this time. It has just been so long since we've heard anything. And the last news story I found was from October 18th, 2021. We Happy Few developer Compulsion Games is working on a new game. Details are limited but promising. And that was an interview with Xbox Squad via VGC. And they said, I think we gave ourselves a little time to learn. It's our first game with Microsoft and we're learning a lot. We have doubled the workforce and we are adapting to it. The goal is to expand our zany universe, to continue to make our mark in video games as a studio that likes to make unique games in little used setting. He continued that for now, that's our goal. Pursue our legacy, our heritage, while remaining true to ourselves. So they've been working on something, and I have to imagine, like, I just feel like we haven't heard anything from them since We Happy Few. I would not be surprised if they had something ready to show. Next company, Double Fine. Double Fine just had the fantastic Psychonauts 2 come out. I don't think we hear anything from Double Fine. There would be a chance that we hear maybe about some sort of Psychonauts DLC, maybe, but I personally would say no to anything from Double Fine. Who do we got next? Okay. The Initiative. The Initiative was a studio that I was very excited about. They had a lot of promise, and I have been tremendously worried about The Initiative, especially since this VGC article, which described a fast and furious exit from the studio. And the author actually updated this to talk about who is still there. And you see all these crossed off names. They're having some massive turnover issues compared to when they started, and the studio is not that old now. As you know, Crystal Dynamics will be working with The Initiative to create Perfect Dark, but guess what? Some stuff happened with Crystal Dynamics recently, but the Tomb Raider studio confirms it will still work on Perfect Dark, and they're going to continue working on the reboot. So they were acquired by Embracer Group, and they said, a new chapter in our story begins as we announce a plan to join the Embracer Group family. Embracer Group will help us propel us to new great heights. So big departures for the Perfect Dark team. This post from The Initiative and Crystal Dynamics about getting acquired by Embracer Group. So things changed. Sorry, I used a new browser today, so everything's sort of sized weird. Not how I would normally do it. I'll just do it like this. There. Yeah, so a lot of stuff happened there. I hope we see something about Perfect Dark. Like, it would be nice, but I'm just really worried about that project, just generally because of everything that has happened. Now, one studio that has certainly been feisty and very active on social media lately is InXile. So they were like, there was a comment made about them making Xbox Game Pass fodder. And they said, full creative freedom, financial support, and millions of gamers playing and loving our games. It's a dream. Really highly recommend. Brian Fargo, also from over there, said Microsoft have been perfect partners for us and we've worked with a lot of people in my career. Nothing but encouragement, operational support, creative freedom, and respect for game development. So yes, I'm most impressed with them, and you will see their bets pay off. So I feel like something's coming from InXile. Let's see if that's right. Yeah. So I feel like something's coming from them. They've been very active on social media lately, and they've been tweeting a lot about Star Wars. So do they have a Star Wars project? I don't know. If you go to their official website, you can see they have Bard's Tale, Wasteland, Torment, Bard's Tale. I think I said Bard's Tale already. But anyway, they have some interesting projects that they have worked on over the years. I wouldn't be surprised if InXile shows something. So I would be very happy if that were to happen. Some people there's a lot of speculation on Twitter about what they could be working on. This from user Idle Sloth. InXile is working on Project Cobalt, which won't be out for years. They have been commissioned to make Fallout 3 and New Vegas Remastered may be shown. Fable may be shown a in-engine look at the world and visuals. Indiana Jones, and that's a separate prediction for Indiana Jones, may be shown in-engine gameplay slated for 23-24. So that's from Idle Sloth. And I've seen those rumors from various people at this point. Personally, if Fallout is being remade, I don't want Fallout 3 and New Vegas to be remade. Those games are just wonderful games that I don't necessarily think needs a remake right now. I think the top-down perspective Fallouts would be they're just a wonderful opportunity to go back to the roots of the series, remake something that probably not a lot of people have experienced, and those who did experience it from the top-down perspective. So imagine those were adapted to more like a Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 type setting. I would be very, very happy if they went back and did that, because the story, the ending of Fallout is the original is great, and I would love to see more of that sort of zany humor. So for me, if InXile is doing a Fallout remaster of some sort, I hope it is the original Fallout and maybe Fallout 2 down the way. It's the same way that Resident Evil is doing it right now, right? Like, just give me more Fallout, great Fallout titles. Mojang, let's talk about Mojang for a second. So Minecraft is, a huge property, and I actually looked it up. So ray tracing support was the big story. There was a mistake, apparently. It came out and then they removed it. I have to wonder if maybe we finally hear something about the ray tracing support, which has been out on PC for quite some time now. And then separately, there was this post about the Wild update, which is coming in on June 7th. That is just coming to Minecraft. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a short bit about this update coming to Minecraft at the Xbox Showcase. One of the studios I am tremendously excited about is obviously Ninja Theory, who is working on Hellblade. I had to do a pickup because I left the audio on for some of these, but real quick, let's talk about Hellblade 2. So you might remember that recently with Hellblade, we got this fantastic demo, taking a look at the engine, taking a look at some of the new fire effects and stuff that they were able to do with Unreal Engine 5. And this already had me pretty excited about where the game was going. So I'm hopeful that we actually get to see some gameplay for Hellblade 2. And I do think that we will get it during the conference. Now, I played through the original Hellblade, definitely play it with headphones on. And the combat was a little bit, I'll say light. I'll be nice and say it was light. But thankfully, the combat designer has said the quality is through the roof. Ninja Theory combat designer says combat experience different compared to its predecessor, meaning they have gone ahead and made some positive changes to the game that are likely going to have a positive impact on Hellblade 2 and hopefully have a deeper combat experience. Going right down the line, we come to Obsidian. Let's just look at some of the games that Obsidian has made. So we know that they have Grounded, they have Pillars of Eternity, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire came out in 2018. They have Avowed, they have the Outer Worlds 2 that they're working on, and they've worked on all these all these other properties actually show up. I don't know if they've worked on all of them. Did they help with South Park? Oh yeah, they do Stick It True. South Park was great. I would love a new South Park game. But of course, we have the Outer Worlds, which they had the tongue-in-cheek trailer, Avowed and Grounded, right? I don't think we see anything out about Grounded in the near future. Grounded's fun for people that enjoy the game. I think Avowed is where I would place a bet on. I think we finally see Avowed gameplay. We see a little bit more about Avowed because at the end of the day, we just haven't heard anything about it in so long that I think it's time to finally see a bit more about Avowed, how far Avowed has progressed since we saw it last. And I think that would just be great. Just looking back at this original teaser here, you know, you have the arrows and everything like that, but the one little snippet that gets everybody excited is the scene with the dragon. I use this all the time in my B-roll, and it's because it really, like, no HUD. I would love that if that was actually a thing. Maybe you get like a reticle in the middle, but just if this is indicative at all about what the gameplay is going to be like, I would be tremendously happy because it's that build-up, that anticipation towards something coming towards you, and the audio design is probably going to be wonderful, and that has me really excited. And the reason that I talk about this so long is because Josh Sawyer, who's Josh Sawyer? Oh, let's take a look here. Game designer, writer, director, studio design director at Obsidian. Worked on Pillars of Eternity, 1 and 2, Fallout New Vegas, etc., etc. So, painting his nails, right? I have a feeling that we are going to see something from the Obsidian team at this event because he is quote tweeting the Xbox Wire tweet about the June 12th conference. Moving right along, we got Playground Games, right? So Forza Horizon team, etc., etc. For Playground, I think that we see... Well, let me think about this for a second. Let's address, first of all, the Fable controversy. So there was a comment made on the show about Fable being scaled back, and Gaz made the comment, and he felt like it was taken a little bit out of context. So re-Fable stuff. I'm never blurting out whatever info I have been given live again. Scoping, I've seen this being twisted and weaponized, despite what I said below. If there's any team out there that can deliver an epic Fable, it's We Are Playground, and then delay Halo. And then this was in a response to Amy, who said, I wanted to clear something up about scoping. And Amy, if you don't know, is the senior producer on Fable at Playground Games. I want to clear something up about scoping. It is a normal, necessary, and healthy part of game development. I can guarantee that every AAA game you've ever played will have gone through scoping regularly during development. Its intention is to make sure that the team are focused under one clear vision and get it made in the time they have without killing themselves. Games that haven't been scoped correctly often have delays and crunch. Both we should be aiming to avoid whenever possible. So, Amy is saying, look, this is normal. It's being a little bit blown out of proportion and sort of addressing it. So, and while we're talking about Playground, etc., and the Forza Tech engine, some people have said that it's about the engine. I don't know if that's true or not. If it is, hopefully they're making the correct adjustments to make sure that there is a good Fable when we finally get it. Will we see more about Fable at the conference, though? I would say no. So a lot of people have pointed to Forza Motorsport 8. And I actually don't have a trailer up, so I'll just talk about it for a second. I think that we see Forza Horizon DLC. I think that would be really, really interesting and remind people, hey, we can make racing games. Forza Motorsport 8, will we see anything about it? That I don't know. A lot of people have like tripled down on the idea that, yes, we're absolutely going to see Forza Motorsport 8. And I get where that's coming from. There have been internal tests or alpha tests that have happened. So, yeah, you know what? I do think we see Forza Motorsport 8. But I wouldn't be surprised if we also saw Horizon DLC at the conference. The conference has no confirmed runtime, so we know that much. And I'm just excited to see what they're going to show. In addition to all of that, we have Rare. So Rare Software, as you know, working on season. They did season 6 of Sea of Thieves back in March. Sea of Thieves has been much more popular than you might realize. It's kind of continued going as well. A lot of people sort of countered it out, right? And we look now and the player base is stable. It seems like people are playing it quite regularly based on what I've seen anyway. And I think potentially we see another Sea of Thieves update. Maybe they tie it into some sort of game. Not game, because they did the pirate thing lately. So maybe we'll see something there, like Aquaman would be a good tie-in, I would imagine. So let's see what they do, but I do think we see a little bit more there. Oh yeah, Tango GameWorks. So Tango GameWorks just released Ghostwire Tokyo. Maybe in a sizzle we get reminded that that's coming to Xbox Game Pass very soon. And yeah, it just came out in March, so it should be out like March next year. So just a small note about that. Arcane Studios. We know Arcane is working on Redfall. They've done Deathloop. They've done Prey. They did the Dishonored series. Currently, they are working on Redfall. And do I think we actually see anything from Arcane? I hope so. I hope we see more Redfall. I want to see some Redfall gameplay. I want them to shrug off all the negative press from the leaks about Redfall. And yes, I do think we finally see some Redfall gameplay. I think it will be a focus of the conference. The game was delayed to 2023, but they have definitely had some development time to work on it. Same with Starfield, which was a huge disappointment for me because I doubled down on saying Starfield's a lock. Like, it just seemed to me like, yeah, you know, it's Bethesda. Their games are a little clunky, but of all the things that would be delayed, I never would have guessed it would have been Starfield. Now, for Starfield, this is one that I also had to pick up on behind the scenes peek, but it's also one that I was really surprised to see delayed into 2023, only because basically they've been doing all these vignettes about the game and doing a lot of press about Starfield, etc. I thought it was a lock, but there were reports coming out saying that the game, they were worried it was going to be the next Cyberpunk. So if they need to delay it, you know, that's always the right call. I'm very surprised that it happened. I do think that we actually see some gameplay, because all we've really been seeing are these sort of teases of artwork, and we haven't really seen much about Starfield. We saw the robot, I believe his name is Vasco, whatever. So we saw the tease of him in action. We saw the in-engine gameplay teaser. I want to actually see some gameplay. So I do think that we see more Starfield at this event, and then, you know, we'll get to play it in 2023 at some point. That leaves us with, who else do we have? We have the id Software team. So as you know, the id Software team did Doom Eternal. It's available now. Doom Eternal is a phenomenal game. A lot of high review scores. I've seen nothing but praise for Doom Eternal. I don't know that you can be that critical about it. Separately, not that long ago, we had the official remaster of Quake, which was available as part of Xbox Game Pass after the Bethesda thing went through. And I have to wonder, and I wondered at the time, is this a tease for something new coming for the Quake series? You know, remind people about Quake, remind people that, hey, you know, remember how great the original Quake was? Can they do something like what they did with the Doom series? I think that would be awesome, right? If they can do for Quake what they were able to do with Doom, I would be ecstatic, because Doom is phenomenal. And if they're able to get an all-new set of eyes on the Quake franchise and get people into it the same way that they're into Doom, I think that would just be phenomenal. And then separately, that leave, who does that leave? We have, let's see, I have my list here of all the developers. Obsidian, talked about the Fallout stuff. Rare, Turn 10, I do think that, oh, I left a few off here. I forgot about Turn 10. I already talked about Forza Motorsport 8. Undead Labs, State of Decay 3. I think that we see something about State of Decay 3 finally. Yes, there's been a lot of negative press attention for the Undead Labs team, but I think finally we're going to actually see some gameplay of State of Decay 3. They teased it like when the Xbox Series X launched, and then it's just been nothing. It's time So State of Decay 3 is an absolute yes. For me, I think we finally see something there. And then we have Indiana Jones. Yes, I think we finally see Indiana Jones gameplay. But moreover... Oh, man, I left my desktop audio on. I hope all those trailers... If all those trailers were playing with audio, that's not a good sign. So, moreover, though, for Wolfenstein... This is Wolfenstein 2, right? You got the wanted BJ Blazkowicz photo back there. And I would be very happy if we finally saw something new for Wolfenstein. But time will tell. A Wolfenstein 3 would be a great reveal. I got to go back and make sure that this isn't like a whole disaster and that it's actually usable. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Those are my predictions for the show and just sort of going through what every studio is working on or that we know about. There's a few that I left out, like Alpha Dog Games and Roundhouse Studios. I believe they mostly work on mobile stuff, though, so they would be adapting mobile to the formula, so to speak. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when they go live. I do appreciate you watching. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you so much to all the members. I actually have to update the list on the live recording, but thank you to the people who have become members and the new members. I will add your name tonight or right now. I'm going to get out of here and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody. Oh, yep. Just a general note. I have been like struggling to get back to normalcy since I got back from Bangkok. So I know I've been really spotty with the videos. I'm going to get back to it. It's just, it's like kicking off the cobwebs, getting used to it again. So I'll get there. Thank you for being patient with me and I'll see you soon. Bye for now, everybody.